Cable Bahamas has always been considered the innovator.
People can have confidence in Cable Bahamas as a mobile operator because of our past history. We've proven to the Bahamian community that we are in fact able to manage additional services as a telecommunications company.
Customers expect the best from Cable Bahamas.
The technology that we bring is revolutionary technology because we know that the Bahamian public, they deserve it, and Cable Bahamas is here to bring it to them.
We are ready. Turn us on.
Baha Mar gets approval to appeal Justice Ian Winder's decision. A man charged in connection with the death of his 4-year-old son. This as the child's family requests assistance to give him a proper burial. Plus, the labor minister and hotel union executives blast Melia over union dues. We've got those stories and a whole lot more tonight. I'm Vonik Toot and NB12 starts now. Topping news tonight, Supreme Court Justice Ian Winder has granted Baha Mar approval to appeal his recent decision. Winder rejected Baha Mar's application for Chapter 11 recognition on July 22nd. However, Baha Mar officials said today they are gratified that the Supreme Court has granted Baha Mar leave to appeal. Kyle Joaquin has the details.
It wasn't altogether surprising. I don't think, I think it's a hopeless case, but it wasn't altogether surprising.
What does this mean? Where do we go from here?
Hopefully the discussions continue and we are back before the court, I believe, on the 19th in relation to the appointment of the provisional liquidator. So we will prepare for that application.
That was China State Construction America's attorney Sean Marie speaking with our news team just after leaving the Supreme Court this morning. CCA had objected to Baha Mar's legal counsel receiving leave to file that promised appeal. However, Baha Mar's team now has the green light to file their appeal of Justice Ian Winder's decision to not have the resort's bankruptcy filing in Delaware recognized by the Bahamas Supreme Court. The company had been seeking local protection from its long list of creditors who were owed millions. Justice Winder's written reasons for dismissing Baha Mar's application was released on Friday. In it, he said, there is no equivalent to Chapter 11 under Bahamian law by which the breathing space can be created or new capital injected. In court today, Baha Mar legal counsel led by Patrick Ryan still didn't state the grounds on which they would be seeking the appeal. And that was one of the reasons Sean Marie, attorney for China Construction America, said it made no sense. He told Justice Winder it would be like him saying, I'm not sure what this is, but I'll grant it. Justice Winder responded, but I am sure what this is. Lauren Klein, who represented the Attorney General's office, said there is no point for the Court of Appeal or a higher court to consider this. He called Baha Mar's application misconceived, a waste of time, and hopeless. Klein said in his side's view, Winder's decision to dismiss their initial application was final. In the end, though, Winder granted Baha Mar leave to file their appeal. We spoke with their attorney, Patrick Ryan, outside court.
Well, we're quite pleased, as I was just saying to Travis from The Guardian, that whenever you make an application and your application is granted, you're pleased that that's happened. So I'm pleased.
Representing China XM Bank was Sophia Roll Kapazugulu, who didn't want to speak much on where her team goes from here.
Sorry, no comments with the press. But they're allowed to go ahead with their appeal, so we'll just have to see what the court says.
And a day after Foreign Affairs and Immigration Minister Fred Mitchell warned Baha Mar CEO that his permanent residency could be revoked if he does not conform, Ismerlian sent out another letter to Baha Mar employees, updating them on their legal battles and what he called his fight against the government. He said after 13 years of working on Baha Mar, overcoming the Great Recession, and being 97% complete, I never imagined I would find myself fighting the very government that asked me to invest in the Bahamas in the first place. While government had agreed to pay Baha Mar's Bahamian employees for the month of July, the foreign workers were not. In his letter, Ismerlian also spoke to that, saying, our number one task this week is to explore ways to be able to pay our expat Baha Mar citizens. The government's decision to withhold payment of your salaries is deplorable, and I hope we can prevail on the government to either pay the salaries or allow the debtor in possession financing to proceed. Despite Baha Mar's application to appeal, the liquidation petition hearing is still scheduled to resume on August 19th. Again, now, because they have been granted this leave, attorneys for Baha Mar now have 21 days to file that appeal. Reporting from the Supreme Court for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
The father of a 4-year-old boy killed while allegedly playing with a handgun was charged in the magistrate's court this afternoon with manslaughter by negligence. 27-year-old Wenzel Demerit, seen here in the red and blue striped shirt, was not required to enter a plea to the charge that he negligently caused the death of 4-year-old Denzel Demerit. Demerit, who appeared before Magistrate Andrew Forbes, was also charged with possession of an unlicensed firearm and possession of 1 round of ammunition. He pleaded not guilty to those 2 charges. The Balls Alley resident was denied bail and remanded to the Department of Correctional Services. The matter will be forwarded to the Supreme Court by way of voluntary bill of indictment. Demerit returns to court on August 10th. Meantime, the family of 4-year-old Denzel Demerit wants financial assistance from the public in order to give him a proper burial. Relatives called his death a bizarre accident. His mother told NB12 today Denzel, his 2-year-old sister, and their 10-year-old neighbor were playing inside their Balls Alley home when she heard a gun go off.
And I just was sitting there outside on Wi-Fi, on Facebook, and all of a sudden I just hear a bomb, and I ran inside, and my little girl looking at my little boy screaming, and the next little boy screaming. And I just look on the floor and I yuck my baby. And I run outside and I start screaming, saying help, help.
Denzel's grandfather, Wendell Demerit, says the family is now asking for the public for assistance
and financial help so that we really can bury this child, give him a good send-off, a good burial, because we really, really, truly don't have the funds. And we're asking for the public to, churches, youth organizations, anybody could come forward with some financial assistance would be greatly appreciated.
Denzel is expected to be laid to rest on August 15th.
Oh my God, it was a gem. It was a gem. It was a sweetheart. And he just graduated from preschool in June, celebrating his 5th birthday yesterday. So he was a nice, lovable child, very lovable child. Nobody can say nothing otherwise.
Meantime, a 21-year-old man and 17-year-old girl have been charged in connection with last week's mass shooting on Key West Street, which left a 4-year-old girl fighting for her life. Michael Newland, seen here in the yellow t-shirt, and the teen girl were charged with 4 counts of attempted murder. According to police reports, several people were standing outside an apartment complex on Key West Street Wednesday night when a gunman opened fire, hitting 5 of them. 4-year-old Makia Major was shot in the back of the head. Her older brother, Shavargo Major, was shot in the leg. 2 men and a woman were also shot during that incident. It is alleged that while being concerned together, Newland and the teen girl intentionally and by means of unlawful harm attempted to cause the death of 4 of those people. Because the girl is a minor, her mother stood beside her in the magistrate's court as the charges were read. The 2 were not required to enter a plea and bail was denied. Newland was remanded to the Department of Correctional Services while his alleged accomplice was sent to the Willie Mae Pratt School for Girls. The matter has been adjourned to August 10th. And in other court news, 3 men and a woman have been charged in connection with that $1 million drug bust off Carmichael Road. Roberto Samuel Williams in the black windbreaker, Trevor Leonardo Lewis in the maroon shirt, Rashad McPhee in the blue striped shirt, and Indira Cartwright, shown here in the white shirt, were charged with possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply, and conspiracy to possess dangerous drugs. They all pleaded not guilty to the 3 charges. Police say they arrested 4 people Wednesday night after DEU officers searched a home off Carmichael Road and found just over 30 bales of marijuana and a quantity of cocaine. The marijuana had an estimated street value of $1.1 million, while the cocaine was said to be worth about $1,000. Now, given the nature of counts 2 and 3, Magistrate Andrew Forbes denied bail and remanded them to the Department of Correctional Services. The matter has been adjourned to November 18th. Following a decision by Baha Mar principals to cease collecting union dues, Labor Minister Shane Gibson accused the resort of union busting and called for resort executives to reverse their decision. Meantime, hotel union executives say the resort has initiated a war with the union. Simone Davis tells us more.
In a press statement, this This morning, the Minister of Labor and National Insurance expressed his disappointment in the recent actions taken by the management of the Melia Hotel. The statement read, "On behalf of the government of the Bahamas, I wish to remind the management of Melia, as well as the principals of Baha Mar, that the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union is the statutory recognized trade union for all non-managerial workers at the property, and as such, the hotel has a legal obligation to treat and enter into negotiations in good faith with the elected officials of the union." We caught up with the labor minister outside of cabinet today and asked if he thinks that decision is a union-busting tactic. Gibson said he thinks it's both an attempt to bust the union and a disgrace.
It really concerns us as management at this stage in the Bahamas and the history of the Bahamas would seek to disenfranchise employees of Baha Mar. I mean, it's actually very disgraceful for a company to come to the Bahamas. They meet unions as a part of the culture of the Bahamas. They know it's a part of our constitution. It's a part of the right of every individual to be a member of a trade union of their choice, and to seek to bust the union by not deducting union dues and to take advantage of employees when you are saying that you care about employees. I guess the whole Bahamas really see now who cares about the employees of Baha Mar.
Gibson, a former trade unionist, warned the principals of Baha Mar that the Christie administration does not take kindly to such moves that are not in the best interest of the Bahamian people.
I'm calling on Baha Mar group of companies and Melia to cease and desist and to rescind that letter immediately where they have threatened not to deduct union dues from employees on behalf of the union.
In a memo to staff dated July 31st, 2015, the management team at Melia advised the workers of the decision, stating that it would take effect on August 31st. This decision came shortly after the Supreme Court's ruling on the long-disputed issue of all-inclusive gratuities for the resort. Union Secretary Darren Wood said the decision came as a shock to the hotel union. Members attempted to contact Melia officials several times. Some reportedly even went to the resort after many failed phone calls, but were either escorted off of the premises or never allowed on the property. Wood said the union is prepared to go to war to protect the rights of workers.
We say to our members, just rest assured that we are coming, and we are going to do whatever the law allows us to do. We have a legal strike vote for that property, and we intend to use it, and use it well. Because this employer, from since they came, has shown total disregard, 1, to the government, 2, to this union, and 3, to the Bahamian people who work for them. Bahamians work hard in this country, and it'll look like Hades for them to be treated much less than a citizen of this country.
Gibson said going forward, the government plans to discuss its options to find a resolution that is in the best interest of the Bahamian people. Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.